Whether you've been playing Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes your entire life or the entire life of the game, or maybe you're brand new to the game, or perhaps you've been playing for a while and you want to start taking the game more seriously, or maybe you played years ago and left and now you've returned to the game, there are universal farming tips that apply to every single player in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. This is a very different game from a lot of other hero collector games. You direct your farming, you decide what you want to farm and how you want to farm it. This is 11 farming tips for everyone in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Well, greetings and hello there, everybody. It's me, your beloved Star Wars Dad Nooch to Good. And as I mentioned, I didn't have 12, I didn't have 10, so we went with 11. 11 is a nice, lucky number. 11s and 7s. I think that's lucky. Is 7s and 11s lucky or unlucky? I think it's lucky, right? I don't know. Whatever. We're going with 11. These are farming tips you can use from the beginning of the game to the mid-game. Whatever, we're gonna guide you through, and these are all updated. I just realized I hadn't done a video like this in a couple of years, actually, surprisingly, with all the farming we talk about here on the channel. Let's just get right into it and start with our very first one. Here we go, and I think this is really important. You guys are all buying Lightspeed bundles, and, well, not all. 90% of you are buying a Lightspeed bundles in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and they aren't the end of your farming, and I think that's really important to recognize. In fact, let's go take a look right now at the Lightspeed bundles that are available currently. We've got the Kylo and Rey bundle. By the way, these are on the PC client. It appears in the near future they're going to be releasing these to the PC client and maybe the web store a little early, and then to your phone, you know, for that later down the road. So these are great bundles. You get, when you buy the Rey bundle, you get all the characters that go along with Rey. You don't get the ships that go along with getting the Raddus to unlock Rey. That should come along later. So keep that in mind. When you go for Kylo, you get all the characters. You need to unlock Kylo. You don't get, again, the Finalizer. The Finalizer bundle will come out later. With every single one of these bundles, it gets you a gigantic head start. A gigantic head start toward where you are with the farming. But I'm going to tell you right now, I have seen so many people that bought Rey 6, 9, 12 months ago. They bought a bundle like this. This is a little different now. And they've just sat on it. And they never did the work to unlock Galactic Legend Rey, and they've got these characters sitting in the same position they are right now, and I'm not sure, a lot of times, sometimes I can see what they did, they prioritized or whatever, but your journey's not done. And I guess that's indicative both ways, right? You bought the bundle and you didn't finish the journey, so you're still sitting there with these characters and you haven't unlocked Rey. I got the characters for Dr. Aphra on my roster. That bundle came out a while ago and I had FOMO and I bought it, but I haven't unlocked Dr. Aphra yet because I view her as like maybe one of the last teams you unlock in the game, the last journeys to do. But it's also indicative of, like, maybe you bought this and like 6 other bundles, you got to pick and choose which one you do. You buy these bundles and there is more farming to do in the game. And I just think that's something to be aware of and something to think about. First of all, a big part of the fun of the game for me, and I hope for you, is farming and prioritizing what you're going to farm and figuring out, where am I going to get these Zetas? Where am I going to get this gear? Where am I going to get these Omicrons? Where am I going to get these mods and everything else and put it together? So Lightspeed bundles, even when you buy them, you still have to organize your thoughts around what comes next and what your next moves are going to be on your account. So keep that in mind as you buy Lightspeed bundles. Giant leap forward, still got work to do. Okay, I think that's important for everybody to know. Don't neglect your fleets. Golly, guys. Golly, this is something I see all of the time. All of the time. Whoop, wrong button there. It is rampant. It is rampant in the game that people have farmed up their character roster and done a great job with that and have done nothing with their ships, or very little, and just leave it and like, I hate ships. And I don't hate ships. People say, I hate ships. Like, well, do you hate ships, or did you just decide not to play a very important part of the game? And, you know, you just kind of kicked it down the road. Guys, your daily crystal income will be fed by farming the Executor and the Leviathan and Profundity. Early on, even Negotiator, Malevolence can be part of that. Chimera can be part of that. You need to farm Finalizer and Erratus to get Kylo and Rey, as we mentioned. Executrix you need to farm up so you can get those Zetas every, 6 Zetas a week, Zeta Mats. Your ships and your fleets are important. And the way I look at them, I look at what I've got coming over the next year, and I start farming those ships ahead of time. And I'm at a point where I've actually got every single ship that's available at 7 stars right now. Do not neglect your ships. The other part of this is that, yeah, characters are double shard farmable when you go and farm a character. So if we went over to Echo and I went to get shards of him, I can't. He's not available. Hang on, I gotta find a character that I know is farmable. One sec. 5s is farmable. There he is. So if I go to get 5s on his node, let me get those. Thank you. I get, well, it's double drops right now. So it's 4 shards per node, but normally it'd be 2 shards per node. He's double shard farmable. All of the new characters from the last year and all of the ships are only single shard farmable. Double shard farmable, 3 months to get them unlocked without any refreshes or other shards from anywhere else. Single shard farmable, you guessed it, 6 months to unlock without any shards from anywhere else or buying shards or events or anything else. So you've got to plan out your ships. You got to be active in ships. You got to be working on them. You can't just leave that to chance and just leave it undone. Fleets are really important in the game, guys. You're not going to advance your roster without having fleets. I love this. And this is something I've really come to in the last year. Over the last couple of years, we started talking about assault battle farming and how this is the new core farming in the game is assault battle farming. Farm those assault battle teams. But why do we say that? We say that because we want to pursue the maximum return on investment, the biggest bang for your buck. You want to farm the teams and the characters that give you the most return for what you do. This is why we talk about your first 2 teams being the Phoenix with Captain Rex. They do 2 different assault battles, which get you a bunch of rewards you're going to need in the game. We're going to farm these first 5 Phoenix here. Captain Rex makes this team viable all the way to the end game. So your return on investment is 2 assault battles every month, which is going to be a bunch of Kyrotech gear that you need, other gear that you need. It's going to be Zetas that you need, and it may even be signal data that you need to get your characters. It's all sorts of stuff you need in assault battles. The Phoenix gets you 2 of those assault battles. And talk about return on investment. This team takes you all the way to the end of the game. It's a great investment early on. And the other team we talk about to start the game with, Imperial Troopers. Again, 2 assault battles. These guys do even better on the assault battles than the Phoenix do. Plus, these guys open your pathway toward Executor, and they open your pathway toward Sith Eternal Emperor. So many good things happen when you farm the teams we talk about early on, and it's why we also talk about your Poncho Bros, your Padawan Obi-Wan and Master Qui-Gon. Right here, Padawan Obi-Wan, Master Qui-Gon. They also have an assault battle that has massive rewards in it. If you get up to Relic 7 and Relic 9 if you can, farm the biggest returns on investment. And of course, at the pinnacle of all of that is Jabba the Hutt. The mod resources Jabba the Hutt gives you every month. I know I harp on this all the time, and I'm really sorry, guys, but it just is true. You've got to farm the most return on investment, especially early in the game. You can cost yourself months or maybe even years by not getting big return on investment from your early farms in this game. Go get the return on investment. Listen to the teams I tell you to farm up front. Trust me, they give you that ROI. The ROI is there. Just go get those teams. And piggybacking on that, the fewer Kyrotech required to finish a character, the faster the farm, and the better off you're going to be, and the cheaper the farm, and the more return on investment that you'll get out of that farm because you're investing less. You're investing less. Let's talk about Kyrotech here for a little bit for those who are new to the game. Kyrotech were a gear that were added several years ago. They were added to the game, and it started with Darth Revan, then went to Darth Malak, and then every character after that has needed some level of Kyrotech, and now every new character released in the game needs 400 Kyrotech, the occasional needs 500, and Galactic Legends generally need about, I think, 700 Kyrotech on their roster. What are Kyrotech? Well, it's a specific piece of gear that you need to gear up these characters. Let's see right there. There we go. These are your Kyrotechs. A lot of the early farms I'm going to go back to these Phoenix again. A lot of the early farms I give you guys, including Phoenix and Imperial Troopers, and the reason I give them to you is they are Kyrotech light. You don't have to spend a lot of Kyrotechs to get these characters geared up and working great for you. And that's what you want to do, because Kyrotech takes a lot of effort to get your hands on. So that's why we focus on it. Chopper, Sabine Wren, Harrison, Dula Kane, and Jarrus all released at the beginning of the game. Ezra Bridger, Zeb. You can get these characters to relic levels with 100 Kyrotechs, and that's it. If you want to just keep a Gear 12, 0 Kyrotech investment. Captain Rex is a new character. He requires 400. You build an entire team up with limited investment in Kyrotechs. Pay attention to how many Kyrotechs are required. Go to swgoh.gg, look up the gear requirements for the characters that you're farming, and see what they require. The more non-Kyrotech farming you can do, especially earlier in the game, the bigger your return on investment is going to be, because the smaller your investment is going to be. So keep that in mind. The fewer Kyrotech required, the faster the farm, and the more return you get on that farm. Hey guys, patience is a virtue. I don't have a lot to say about this. You know, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Who am I kidding? Who are we kidding? I have a lot to say about this, but I'll try to keep it brief, because you're patient people. You can wait. See, you can wait. Patience is a virtue. This game is a marathon, not a sprint. Even, as we've mentioned, when you're buying Lightspeed bundles, you're going to be behind on Zetas, on Omicrons, your mods. Mods are the great delineator that keeps the end game away from the early game. You can have everything on your roster, but if your mods aren't any good, you won't be an end game player. This is a game of building and building and building and finding new barriers to overcome as you go. Right now, my roster, for example, here, I spent last 2.5 years building this roster. I spent a year paying a bunch of money for it to experiment for you guys. We tracked that all along the way. Go check out my playlist, spending $100 a week for a year. Fun stuff. We had a good time building the roster. Now I'm approaching the end game, and I've got to really start thinking about, I got to build up my mods. I just mentioned the mods separate the end game from the early game. You got to keep retooling and planning, and I love it so much. I love building up a big engine that works really well for me in game, an engine that feeds into my future farms, and I love taking those farms and then retooling them when I have to. Patience for your roster is a big virtue and will go a long way toward helping you build a great roster in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes and do some great farming there. We mentioned this before, I'll mention it again. Beware shiny objects ahead. Boys, girls, ladies, gentlemen, they're actually doing a lot to make newer characters more affordable in the game. We talk new characters. We're looking at right now the event for the Disguise Clone Trooper is out. Is that what it's called? Disguise Clone Trooper, or is it not saying? Disguise Clone Trooper. Thank you. I got it. These new characters are being released all the time. Not at the pace of some other games that shall go nameless, but every 2 weeks, basically, we get a new character or a new ship in the game. You can farm these, and you can get them to 7 stars right away. And you can get them to relic levels right away. It's going to cost you. Go watch Arnold T101 on a day one unlock stream. He spends $300 right off the bat to get the character to 7 stars. Then he's got all the gear and the Zetas and everything sitting there that he's invested in. He's had the account forever, so he's got them sitting there. I've got these characters at 4 stars right now. Apple is at 4 stars. Let me pull up Apple on my round. Let me see it here. This way. 4-star Apple right there. That's what you can get just by, not paying for everything, and then you go farm that character later. There's always new teams and characters coming out. These guys, everybody thinks is really cool because they supplement Lord Vader. Everybody loves Lord Vader. I totally get it. I just want you to be aware, you can play this game and you can have a lot of fun without pursuing all the new shiny objects that appear in front of you before your eyes. My roster is getting to a point now where I'm going to start getting after these new and shiny objects, but I got a few farms to finish. By the end of the year, we're going to be farming these new ones, and we'll see if we'll find the best and most economical way to do it and show you guys too. But just be aware, there's always new characters coming out every 2 weeks. You can invest them and buy them. It's up to you, but there'll always be another one right behind it. So it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. And I want you to be aware of that as you look at your wallet and your pocketbook. And speaking of wallets and pocketbooks, I say this all of the time. If you are spending money on Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes and you are not independently wealthy, where you've got a magic wallet that never runs out of cash, please, for the love of God, track your spending. Get a spreadsheet, get a piece of paper that you fold up and keep in your pocket. Track your spending. You're planning out your farms and tracking your spending. You're planning out your farms, you're tracking your spending. You can spend 5 to 10 times as much as you think you're spending in the blink of an eye, and you won't even know you did it. And then your wife will be like, where'd all our money go? And you'll go, I don't know. We have a mortgage. And then you look around, and then you are living in a cardboard box because of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And actually, it's not because of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, it's because of you. It's on your shoulders, baby. It's because of you. Track your spending. I can't say that enough. You know, I can't say. There's so many packs in here that cost money. You could buy them all, and you think you're spending $10 here, $20 there, whatever, and all of a sudden it's $300-$400. Just be aware of your spending and track it and make sure you're not getting out ahead of your skis, okay? Speaking of planning, you've got to be planning 2 to 3 farms into the future. If you're not, you're going to be falling behind. That's how the game works. You've got to you got to plan your farm and farm your plan 2 to 3 in the future. I've had this planned out. You guys watch my channel. Over the last year, I was doing Inquisitors, and I had that planned out, followed by the Leviathan, followed by Jedi Master Kenobi. I'm on the last tier of that right now. I'm finishing up my Jedi Master Kenobi. After Jedi Master Kenobi, I'm going to go in and I'm going to get my UFUs, my unaligned Force users, which is going to be Cal Kestis and Seer Junda, Terran Malicos. I got to get Ben Solo. I got to get all these guys up and running so I can supplement some existing teams, start using these endgame teams, and I can go get Jedi Knight Cal once I do that. Then once I get done with that, then it's back over to Lord Vader, and I'll be farming the dark side clones too. But by the time I get there, they'll be available to farm. You've got to know the next several farms on your roster and understand what's coming. It takes time to do. This is why people get roster reviews on the channel, to help them understand what's coming up and how to plan their farms out. Because if you don't, all of a sudden you're sitting there and you're like, oh, I just finished off my Jedi Master Kenobi, and now I have no other characters at 7 stars, and now I'm starting from scratch on a whole new farm where I could have been getting that thing already beforehand. You gotta plan out your farming ahead of time, and you've gotta plan out the next 2 to 3 farms into the future, because that's gonna take you months for each one. If you don't have a plan, where there is no plan, the people perish. That's how that works. It's in the Bible. Go look it up, and it's just true. You gotta have that plan. This is really important. I talk about this a lot too. If you're in a guild and you want to stay in the guild, are you with me? If you're in a guild and you want to stay in the guild, and the guild is requiring certain farms, I'd suggest you do those farms. Or, conversely, find a new guild. And I got a video for that. Look up Nooch Too Good, how to find a guild. You'll find that video. There's Discord rooms. There's the forums. There's rooms in my Discord for recruiting. There's recruiting all over the place. You got to network yourself. Go find a guild. Do what your guild requires. If they're telling you to get Geonosians, if they're telling you to get Inquisitors, they're telling you to get Bo-Katan, they're telling you to get your UFUs, like I just mentioned. Go get those teams. They're telling you to get Hoth Rebel Soldier for Hoth. If you want to stay in your guild and be a productive member, and they're requiring the farm, go get the farm, and don't come crying to me when you get booted out of the guild because you didn't do a required farm. Not my problem. I told you. Be stingy. Be Be stingy with your gear, with your Zetas, and with your Omicrons. You don't have to slap these onto a character the minute that you get them on your roster. Hold on to them and wait for that moment that comes. You'll notice I've got 5s here. I could relic 5s. I've got all the gear for it. I'm waiting. I've got my clone sergeant here. He's at relic 0. He's at gear 13. I'm waiting. I've got Bo-Katan Kryz. She's at gear 13. I'm waiting. I've got Echo. He could be relicked. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I haven't applied any gear here. You'll also notice I've saved 144 Zetas on my roster. You'll also notice I gotta find an Omicron here. Gotta find an Omicron here. Who's got an Omicron? Does Mace Windu have Omicron? I think he does. I think he does. Not there. There we go. You'll also notice I can't see it. There we go. There it is. I've got 119 Omicrons saved. Why am I sitting on these? Because I'm stingy. I am stingy, boys and girls. I sit on that stuff until the very last minute when I need it. And when we talk about planning your farms, that's what I know that I need 5s, Echo, and Arc Trooper relicked up for when I get to my gas farm, which I need for Lord Vader. But I'm not doing Lord Vader next. I really want gas on my roster. He's a big missing hole on my roster. He's a big gas hole. I have a giant gas hole on my roster. If you got this far in the video, type gas hole in comments, please. Thank you. Appreciate the recognition. I have a giant gas hole in my roster. I really want him, but he is a big piece of that Lord Vader farm, as is Echo and Arc Trooper. They're all required for that. And I'm not doing Lord Vader next. I'm doing the UFUs after Jedi Master Kenobi. So I'm saving all my Zetas. By the way, when we mention Zetas, I need 120 Zetas for Jedi Master Kenobi all by himself. So these 120 out of 144 are already spoken for to give Jedi Master Kenobi his 6 Zetas. I'll be ready on day 1 when I unlock Jedi Master Kenobi to pop all 6 Zetas on him and get it done and knock it out. And why will I be ready on day 1 to do that? Because I'm stingy. Be stingy, boys and girls. Be stingy. Hold that gear, apply it in chunks when you need it. Sit on the gear, sit on the Zetas, wait until you apply them where you are. Plan your farming so you know where you're going to apply them and be ready to apply them in those places. And finally, number 11 here, do not neglect your mods and Datacrons. This is the most common thing we see here on this channel. I didn't have this spreadsheet ready to go. I'm going to show you my mod scores spreadsheet. A lot of you guys have seen this when you're looking at, when we do roster reviews on the channel. We do roster reviews here all of the time. Let me get the table up here. This is the mod score. I'm going to pull this over here and let's get that out of the way. There we go. This is my mod score table. Chart. What you'll notice is that this is an average line, and you'll see that the average line is nice, but most people are bunched up below the average line. About 80% of players. This sounds crazy, right? That doesn't make any sense. Is that really an average if 80% of players are below that's the mean, by the way, for those mean, mode, and median, right? That's the mean. Yes, because the people that are above the line are blowing away the line. They are carrying water for all of these people down here. Don't be the 80%, be a 20%er. Be somebody that farms your mods. Work on your mods. They're just so I can't stress enough. Go watch Mods 101 on my channel. Go watch my mods playlist. You got to farm your mods. And the same goes for Datacrons. The deeper you get into the game, as you move forward into levels of Grand Arena like Erodium, as your guild's doing Territory Wars, Grand Arena, Territory Wars, and Grand Arena, that's where Datacrons apply. These can be very easily farmed in Conquest. I don't pay money for Datacrons. I have just recently started spending some of my shard shop currency to get the currency to upgrade more Datacrons. But I do all of this free to play, basically. I don't buy a bunch of Datacron loots, boxes, or anything. I just farm the heck out of them during Conquest. Come watch me during a Conquest. It'll be next week. We'll be playing Conquest on stream. You can see how I do it. Datacrons and mods. Mods and Datacrons. Mods are your first priority. You can farm them from the beginning of the game. You can get a great mod score from the beginning of the game just by doing them and grinding them. Trust me, you can do it. I believe in you and I have faith in you. You got to get out there. Do not neglect your mods and your Datacrons. And there you go. These are your 11 tips, 11 farming tips for every single player in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I hope that this helped you out on some level. You never know. You have to have players that's been here for 5 years and all of a sudden they're like, you know what? A little light, this happens to me all the time. A little light goes on, bing. I'd never really thought about it in that way. And that's why we repeat stuff. And I know a lot of this is repeat for a lot of you. For a lot of you, it'll be brand new information. 11 farming tips for Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. Let me know what you gained out of this, what the most important tip that you found and learned new. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Always remember, Nooch too good.